and marital relationship, we must agree is the work of Satan. Because Satan is targeting marriage, is targeting homes to destroy them. The ones he cannot destroy, he wants couples to live in pain and penury, to continue to see marriage as something that must be survived and not to be enjoyed. We can trace it to Genesis chapter 3, verse 7. After man fell, something happened in Genesis 3:7. And the eyes of them were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Something happened that man and woman now saw themselves as naked. They saw things that they didn't see before, because in Genesis 2, verse 25, that same Bible says, and they were man and woman, they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. So something happened that man and woman became ashamed. And in the process, they saw that they were naked. And so what happens when your eyes are open? Somebody opened their eyes, and it is Satan, the devil, who opened their eyes, that led to conflict and ultimately led to violence, because that violence was why Cain killed Abel. That violence was why man started being very confrontational with man. Number one is that they saw each other, their eyes were open, and they saw their nakedness and weaknesses. And that is the number one cause of conflict in marriages and relationships. Couples no longer see themselves within the glory that God has given them. They no longer see the positives that their own spouses have. They now see their nakedness. Their eyes become open, and they see themselves outside of the glory that God has given to them. They now see the mistakes and the omissions and the problems. That is why you see it is possible for a woman to be so admired in society. She is like a symbol of royalty and glory and splendor, the wife of an excellent man, and people celebrate her and people think that she's having the fun of her life. But deep back home, it is trouble upon trouble and molestation and beatings. The husband inflicts pain upon her because he is in a privileged position to see her weakness and her nakedness. That is when he remembers that this lady cannot speak English correctly. That is when he remembers that this lady is not good in dressing. That is when he remembers that this lady does not have the hourglass shape and has a big tummy and cannot dress well and cannot behave the way other respected women are. But everybody is envious of this woman in society, but she's living in pain every blessed day because somebody has seen her nakedness from a position of privilege. Someone has seen that nakedness which she willingly gave to him. It's the same thing with a man. It is possible for a man to dress up every day, respected in society, envied in church, envied in the family circle. But he goes home every day to verbal abuses, to even a woman that physically beats him up. And he cannot say it to anybody because he's too ashamed to have said that he's beaten by his wife every day. No man ever lives to confess to that, because the devil has shown that lady the man's nakedness. Because they saw each other's nakedness. That is why it is possible in the first year of a marriage, a man can tell his wife, or a wife can tell the man that, you know, if had I known this about you, I wouldn't have married you. And conflict begins. Because of that single point, they begin to inflict pain upon each other. The truth is that every spouse has a hole. Every human being on the face of the earth has a hole. And from what we've already learned, the duty of the spouse is to become a helpmeet unto that man. Your duty is not to highlight the hole. Your duty is not to amplify the hole. Your duty is not to show the hole to others. Your duty is to cover that hole, is to find a strategy, arrange it to cover the hole.